Ladies and gentlemen.
I want to know, can you find your mind?
Welcome to Love Your Brain.
Hello, good people of Earth, and hello, Shannon.
Hey, how are you?
This is Love Your Brain with the Brain Trust, and tonight we have two members of the Brain Trust.
Yes.
Yeah, and my cell phone isn't off. Now it is.
Perfect.
So, here we are. I am excited about it just being you and I, actually.
Me too. Me too.
You know, Shannon and I have been friends for how many years now?
I think 3 or 4.
3 or 4. Yeah. And it's really kind of cool how our friendship started.
Yes,
Do you remember?
I do.
Of course you do. I'd like to say a few words about it. Yeah, I was having a really difficult time in life, dealing with a certain person that I was in a lot of fear of having that person pass away. And so I was told by my life coach at the time to go float in a tank. So I signed up to go float in a tank and ended up meeting you because you worked there.
Yes.
And so we started having a real brief conversation, and I was like, wow, this person is really fucking cool, like right off the rip. And then went into the tank and floated and freaked out for about 3 minutes because I didn't realize how claustrophobic I actually was.
Yeah, it's a bit intimidating.
And then after that, you know, we just like clicked.
Yep.
And you said a couple things, and I was like, oh. And then I said a couple things, and you were like, oh, wait a second. And next thing you know, we're like talking about plant medicine stuff, and
Yep.
I told you what was going on. You held space for me. I held space for you. Like, you literally were the representation of what I asked the universe for in that moment.
That's kind.
Because yeah, it's not just kind. I mean, it's legit, you know. And it was right after I left that space that I got the phone call
Yep.
from the person's sister letting me know that she had passed away. And it was like, wow, I was prepared in that moment mainly because of that experience. So thanks for that.
You're welcome.
What was your takeaway from that experience?
I don't know. I was just being myself and just trying to. At that point, I feel like I didn't have a community at all around plant medicine.
Yeah.
And so I felt so starved for that kind of conversation. So I was always just so excited
Yeah.
that I could have somebody to probably just do integration with.
Yeah, right?
Really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I remember you were planning to go to like LA or something for a conference or
Las Vegas for Meet
Okay, close.
Delic.
Yeah?
Yes. Yes.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because my memory's shit.
It was wild. That was a beautiful experience.
Was it? Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yep. Also felt like, what am I doing here? But so glad I went. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember that day.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I remember you reaching out and going, hey, can we be friends? And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is awesome. And we've been friends ever since.
Yep.
So I appreciate you a lot. I had a conversation with you on the phone the other day. I was kind of not in the greatest space, and it was just helpful. I told you that, but I'm going to tell the world that too, that Shannon is someone that has such a steadiness and anchor into the moment that it really helps me like unload.
Thank you.
And you challenge me too, which is great. Those are the people I like to be around, are people that challenge me, but you challenge me with like that feminine kindness that's also like fierce.
Sometimes.
And you've called me out a few times, which is, dude, trust me, it's the best. Like, because I'm a guy who needs to be called out.
Me too. I mean, a lady, but
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah, you've called me out a few times based on some of the things I've said in my perspective, and you're like, well, hold on a second. Wait, what about this? And I'm like, well, shit, yeah, that's a good point. So
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But you're like that.
Am
For
I?
me. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. That's why the conversation just flows so easy.
Yeah.
Because it's just mutual.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we are tonight, and we're going to have a conversation, and
Yes.
you know, we actually have a topic planned, which is interesting what the topic is, because I started this podcast talking about the passing
Yeah.
of a close friend, and that's how we met. And
Yeah.
guess what the topic is that we're going to talk about tonight?
Yeah. Death and dying and
Death,
whatever that covers.
whatever
Yeah.
that covers.
Yep.
Yeah. So, what do you got to say about this whole dying thing?
I don't know. I have a lot to say, but it is not something I've ever thought about until really recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until I started doing work around, you think about it, obviously, right? You think about it and you know it's coming and we're all going to end up there. But until I started doing some serious work around my medical trauma, I really didn't think much about it. But I had, is it okay if we go into this?
What do you mean, is it okay? This is our podcast.
So
You aren't even a guest. You're
No,
a
it's
co-host, so
true.
you get
Okay.
to steer the ship. Go ahead.
So when I was 3, I had open heart surgery.
Yeah.
And they literally took my heart outside my body. So I had a machine keep breathing for me and circulating my blood. And I didn't really think about that until last year. And really asking the question is like, well, where was my consciousness? Like, where was I? Where was I? And I don't know really, but I have this idea that because after that surgery, I would ask my mom or say to my mom, I want to go home. I want to go home. I want to go home. And she'd be like, we're home. Like, you know. But there was this like longing for this other place that I knew, but I didn't quite know. And until my first mushroom experience. And they brought me to home.
They as in
The
mushrooms?
yeah. And it felt like, I remember thinking like, oh, I know this place. Like, this is my home.
Yeah.
This is where we go when we die. This is where we spend time before we're born. And so then when I'm, doing that other work around my heart surgery, I really just kind of felt like, oh, maybe that's where I was. And that's why I knew what it was when the mushrooms brought me there.
It was familiar. You recognized it.
Instantly. And it was, and you know what's funny is I've not had that desire to go back since the mushroom experience. Because I think now I know it's waiting for me. So I'm not in a rush. I can be here. Yeah.
So when you had that surgery, did you have an NDE, a near-death experience? Did you actually
Die?
Yeah.
I don't think so because I don't know. This is the other thing. It's like I haven't delved too deep into my own medical records and stuff like that. Like some of it's really hard to hold
Right.
about the self or to learn things about yourself that you didn't know. But so I don't know how it works exactly. I just know that they have a machine doing that stuff so they could fix my heart. So I think for like an hour and a half to 2 hours I was on that machine.
Wow.
I know. So it's like I don't know. I don't know what you would consider that. You're on anesthesia in pain medicine, so
Yeah.
but where do you go?
Yeah, it's really interesting to me. I am fascinated by the NDEs. I have a close relative who has experienced that, and he likes to talk about it
Yeah.
sometimes, and it's like really intense. And I've watched some videos and done some reading, but it does seem like there's like a common denominator about it with all of these people. A lot of the time you hear
Yeah.
about this like tunnel, seeing loved ones, so on and so forth. A lot of the time there's a voice, you know, sometimes a woman's voice, a man's voice. It is all
And
very...
the feeling of just like infinite love
Yeah.
and acceptance, and you don't want to leave, right? It feels like going home. And I think that sounds amazing.
Sounds good to me. The only time that I have experienced that was in an ayahuasca ceremony.
Yeah.
And it was that just beyond love, like love isn't even the right word.
Yeah.
It's beyond that. It's like a frequency of complete calm, ease, peace, and expansive
Yes.
freedom.
Yeah.
Where you're not attached to anything and you're just floating in the ether of existence and in the moment.
Yep.
Those are my bullshit words, but I've been there. I have been there before. And it is interesting to think about, these psychedelic experiences, because when you look at near-death experiences, they're very similar to a lot of
Very.
psychedelic experiences. So what are we doing here? What's going on? Like what, and I'm not a scientist.
Yeah. I don't want to be.
Yeah.
I like the mystery.
yeah.
Even though it's scary a little bit because there's nothing concrete.
Yeah.
But, and I think sometimes I freak myself out thinking that maybe that was just an experience because of the chemical process that's happening in the body and in the mind. Or is it actually a doorway into a place that we really know?
Well, I mean, it's hard not to bring up DMT in this
Yeah.
part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Dimethyltryptamine, the spirit molecule, the God molecule. There are certain psychedelics like ayahuasca and others that's the active ingredient that gets you into that psychedelic state. And at the same time, like we have natural DMT within us, and there is a theory that when you are about to pass, your DMT levels shoot through the roof. And so why is that happening? Like if that's happening
Is that actually happening?
I mean, they've actually done studies where, there's studies that have been done where there is an increase of DMT right before the passing. But yeah, it's interesting. Like obviously we're not going to figure this shit out. And
No.
even if what's great is even if you brought science into the conversation,
Yeah.
that's still not going to figure it out.
No.
It can help to create more plausible theories. But, for me, I think I'll just say this, there's a connection there. There's something going on with when we go into higher states of consciousness and when someone passes. And the similarities and the overlap is really interesting to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think my stuff lately around this is also just my ego wanting to hold on to this. Like I love my life.
Yeah.
It's taken me a long time to get to a place where I just love my life,
Yeah.
And I think my ego is really also just trying to hold on to that. So I feel like it's messing with me about those experiences that felt so true.
Because the ego doesn't want to die.
Yeah.
Forget about like the physical death. The
Right.
ego itself
The ego, yeah.
will hold on
Yeah.
for dear life.
Yeah. And me too. I'm having a great time. I don't want to go anywhere,
Yeah.
but it's coming for all of us.
It's coming for all of us. It is the inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
None of us gets out of here alive. And I haven't met a vampire yet.
Yeah, no.
So,
And I don't even know. I don't think that I would rob myself if there was an option to stay. I don't, as much fear as I have sometimes, I wouldn't rob myself of the opportunity to have the experience
the experience of
of
passing.
death. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Right?
like, isn't that probably the issue or problem with, like, at least our society. I can only speak for our culture as in the United States, but I don't think there's enough preparation.
No.
And it's like it's almost taboo.
Yeah.
Like, because if you start talking about death, it's like you're being negative.
Yeah.
Why are you being so morbid? But why does it have to be negative, and why does it have to be morbid? I mean, it's literally as important and can be as beautiful as a newborn coming into the world.
Yeah. Which, when we talked the other day, so 4 months ago, almost 5 months ago, I witnessed a baby being born. I was so lucky to be invited into this home birth and to witness a baby being born. And then 4 months later, I am witnessing my aunt pass. And it's just kind of a mind fuck a little bit to see both ends of the spectrum in such a short period of time, and to not really have I don't know, people aren't willing to sit in the conversation of death as they are about birth.
Exactly.
And I think that's the one that needs more processing, needs more conversation.
I want to process it more because for years I used to say, I'm not afraid of dying. No, I'm not afraid of dying. Any day will do. Pink Floyd reference. And then I sat with ayahuasca and realized that that might be one of my biggest fears.
Same.
So interesting that, like, from that intellectual perspective, no fear, and yet actually diving deep into that state where you cannot hide from yourself, where yourself is it, and you can't run from you.
Yep.
That was literally like the most pressing fear that had me resisting the medicine was like, oh my God, like, am I dying? And, you know, I think that also isn't so much about the physicality. It's more so about the ego realizing that it's starting to, like, fizzle out and dissolve, because that's the other beautiful thing about psychedelics is it's a tool to detach from ego, at least for, like, you know, 2 to 8 hours. And my ego did not like the witnessing of itself disappearing.
I get it. And it's crazy because, so I felt the same after my first mushroom journey. I was more afraid of dying than before.
Yeah, see,
and
same here.
It's wild to me because they use psilocybin specifically for people with anxiety around death who have cancer or terminal illnesses. But what I think is what it is I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not done yet. And so somebody with a terminal illness, their clock is ticking different than ours, right? And I really do believe, like, you know, that phrase about, you know, to die before you die with psychedelics. And I think that they are a tool to prepare us for our final death. And I would like to think that when that time comes for me, I show up with as little resistance as possible. But in the meantime, I can, like, fret about it, you know?
Yeah. No, same here, though. I had this notion that I didn't have any fear of death. I also had a lot of notions that I thought I knew about. And sitting with psychedelics, kind of like, oh, really, buddy? You know, and that's the gift and the burden of those experiences is, you know, the beauty of it, the stepping into a new level of awareness, being in those higher states of consciousness. But then the aftermath is when you come back into this realm, into this life, there's some stuff there. And you know, when you are our guest, we talked about this. And I think it's worth bringing up again. It's just like integration is so crucial. And integration, how would you define integration for anyone that, is listening for the first time?
To me, integration is really taking the lessons of a psychedelic experience and embodying it and trying to bring it into my everyday life. And sometimes that is tiny little nuggets over a long period of time until it sticks. Sometimes. And sometimes it's like, you're just on the back of a horse and you're going, but it's imperative, I think. But around death, because there's so much uncertainty, and also you don't know when it's coming for you, that I think the fear around that and the ego having the experience of disillusion makes it tangible in a different way,
Yeah.
And like, I had never witnessed somebody passing before, like I did for my aunt, and
Can I know her name?
Janine.
Janine. I just want to know Janine.
Yeah.
Okay. I
don't want to get weepy, but yeah.
All
so
right.
if I personalize too much, I will. But
have at it. Go.
So it was really, it felt very sacred. We were in a hospital and there was a lot of other stuff around the situation, but her family got to be there. I was so grateful that I got to be there for that. And it really, I went home and all I did was talk about, like, to my husband, like, this is what I hope I can have. This is what I want it to look like. This is how I want my family to show up around me. This is what I'm looking for after. And it sounds so silly in some ways because I might not even be cognizant of all of those things taking place. But I don't know, it just felt like really important that I create some sort of ceremony around that experience when my time is coming. That's what it felt to me. It felt so sacred and so ceremonial, even though you're in this hospital environment and there's all this other stuff going on.
Yeah, and it's beautiful that there was some sense of timing around it too, because sometimes people pass and it's like, you know, they're mowing the lawn and boom, gone. So for that, it's like, that's ideal because it reminds me of what happens with family and friends when there's the birth of a child. It's the same scene.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I know. I hope, I can only be so lucky to have a good death.
I think a good death is just being prepared.
Yeah.
And what does that actually mean? I think for me, it's accepting that it's inevitable and that when it happens, it's just a part of the natural process of life. And I don't want to be afraid of it. I don't want to be afraid of the inevitable because it's inevitable.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like a heavy thought to think about.
Yeah.
It's like you can hide from it all you want. It's not like, oh, I'm afraid of getting in a car accident. You might not get in a car accident. Or like, I'm afraid of snakes. You might not ever see a snake, but guess what?
Yeah.
You're gonna die.
Yes. Yeah, and I wonder if because it's so removed from us culturally, that's why there's so much struggle or maybe like around addiction, or I feel like so much stuff is avoiding that inevitable truth that we are heading in this one particular direction, all of us.
Yeah.
And I wonder if we just brought that back into our everyday. Like I after witnessing that birth, I definitely feel like everyone should witness this at least once in their life. Like, women are so powerful. Nature, our bodies are designed for this. And the same is true for death. Like our body knows what to do during that.
Yeah.
And I feel like everyone should have the opportunity to witness that too. I definitely am, I don't know. I don't want to be like, I'm less afraid, but I'm not. But it was good to see. It was good to see the process and to witness the body knowing what needs to happen for this person to have that transition. And my favorite quote for death is from Ram Dass, where he says that dying is like taking off an uncomfortable pair of shoes. And I feel like that's the best part of the night, right? After like a night out and you come home and you take off like these fancy clothes and these shoes that are uncomfortable, that's the best part. Like,
Yeah.
what if that is also like us like shedding these bodies that contain our spirit that is expansive beyond measure, you know? What if it feels the same?
Oh,
I think that's beautiful,
yeah, absolutely.
right?
I mean, it seems. I witnessed the death of someone. It was a good friend of mine from AA, and I had lost touch with her for a few years. Her name was Kathy, and she was a character. I mean, everyone knew who she was. She made herself well known. I remember the first meeting that she went to. She was in pretty rough shape. I thought for sure maybe there was something wrong, but really it was just, you know, too many booze and benzos. Anyways, her and I developed this really funny, like humor-based but caring friendship. And I helped her move a couple times. She was an older woman too.
Yeah.
I called her Crazy Kathy. And like I said, I hadn't talked to her for a few years, kind of lost touch. And then her son reached out to me. And he said, "Hey man, my mom's dying." And I was like, "Dude, I'm so sorry. What can I do?" He goes, "She wants to see you. She wants you to," oh shit. "She wants you to be a part of it." I have never been so honored in my life than to have someone ask me to participate in their final days. And she was in hospice. And it was really crazy. Yeah, I'm going to talk about this.
Let's talk about it.
It was really crazy because I had at the time I had the Kindness Cures Project going, that nonprofit that I founded with a bunch of other people, and we were doing some really cool stuff. And one of the things that we were planning to do was to put on a Thanksgiving dinner for a young lady who passed away at 14 years old, and we wanted to put on a Thanksgiving for her family. She passed away from cancer. And so when I went to go see Kathy on the first day at this hospice, I saw pictures of this young lady on the, like, and was like, "Wait, what?" And they're like, "Yeah, she was here.
Wow.
She passed here." And I was like, okay, that's an interesting synchronicity. And my experience with Kathy was, I mean, it was kind of simple. We had conversations about her fears and we joked around a lot. I think she wanted me to be there just to like joke around and,
Yeah.
you know, but she just wanted to get things settled. She wanted things to be okay with certain people in her life. And I'm being mindful of like if someone hears this, I don't want to get too specific.
Yeah,
but
I get it.
it was just interesting to watch her process of just wanting everyone else to be okay.
Yeah.
And yet at the same time being afraid. And we had conversations about it, and I guess I helped out. And
great.
I got asked to go there. I went there as much as I could. It was about a 2-week process. I was there at least every other day. Sometimes I was there a couple days in a row. And then it was obvious, like when it was, like the nurses were keeping us informed, like, okay, this is what happened, you know, and it's like you said, like the human body actually knows how to die.
Yes.
Like it's natural. It's not like, oh my God, what's going, no, your body like takes over, it does certain things.
Yep.
It actually puts you at ease in certain ways chemically with neurotransmitters and all this other stuff. But yeah, I was told like it's time.
Yep.
And I went there, and she was already like out, but she was still breathing. And I watched her take her last few breaths.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, there was nothing gross about it. There
No.
was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I have never really talked about that much. And it was so powerful to go there and to see that was where that young lady had passed away too. And that's where I get caught up with the whole death thing, is the young people.
I know.
The young people, you know, and especially when it comes to, you know, faith and all. We don't have to go there. It's harder when it's young,
Of course.
Because when you're older, you know, it's like you got to experience this,
Yep.
and this. You know, and honestly, even right now at 47 years old, like, I've lived a pretty goddamn good life.
Yeah.
I've been able to do some cool shit.
Right?
Yeah. I got to be a dad. I got to do this. I got to do that. Yeah, it's like, I've already lived a full life, but I still got more shit to do.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with you, obviously, about, like, you know, the ages in which people pass can be really tough. But I just always think, like, I don't know their soul's journey. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know that stuff. I don't know the path. And all you can do is, like, how can I show up in this moment?
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know?
You can't intellectualize
No.
some topics and the purpose of why things happen, why quote unquote bad things happen. You know, I am someone in faith of God, and am recently, like, reconnecting because I need to.
Yep.
But, you know, for me to try to figure out what God's plan is like you and I trying to describe to an ant why 2 + 2 = 4. We don't have the capacity.
I don't want it. I don't
Yeah,
want
yeah.
the burden of knowing any of that. Along probably like 10 years ago now, I read the books Conversations with God.
Oh, dude, when I was 14, I read the first, there's like a 3-part.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, but in there, God, or the guy who's channeling God, and I'm just like going to go all in on that because I was in a really bad place in my life, so I needed something to hold on to. And he just, you know, God says, basically, like, in those moments, it's not for you to understand why, but it's an opportunity for you to decide how you want to show up.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's really powerful. You know what I mean? I think that's...
Yeah, because it's like the only thing you have control of.
And that's the only thing I'm responsible for.
Right.
Like, you don't know all these people's, why they're here, why they leave the way they do. Like, I don't know. But I can honor that, or I can, whatever it is, right? However it is that I want to show up. And I think that part is important for me to hold on to when you're sitting there watching the news or whatever is happening in the world, where you're like, what the fuck?
Especially nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I hold on to that really closely. Like, how do I want to show up? You know, what do I want my choices to say about who I am as a person? And that leaves a lot of room for evolution and growth and reflection and integration, you know?
Yeah. Back to, like, the fear of death too. I wanted to mention, and I forgot until now. So one of the steps in AA, like, I've walked quite a few people through the steps, and I've walked through the steps. But one of the steps deals with fear, and there's directions to do a fear list. And not to give anyone the punchline, but basically, like, the basis of it is that you write out all your fears. Like, I'm afraid of snakes. I'm afraid, you know, I'm not good in bed. I'm afraid of the dark. I'm whatever. I'm afraid of clowns. So, and then you go through the fear list. At least this is how I was taught it. You go through the fear list with a sponsor, and you peel back all the layers of that fear to the, like, foundational fear of it. And do you know that there's only two things that people are afraid of? There's only two things people are afraid of that I've found in all the years that I've sponsored people.
And they are.
And they are, I'm not good enough. That's it. I'm not good enough and dying.
It's interesting.
Those are the only two fears that I've ever come across. Because, if it's, I'm not good in bed, not good enough.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not a good friend, not good enough.
Yeah.
I'm not this, I'm not that. I'm afraid of, right? And then all the other ones, like I'm afraid of heights, you're afraid of dying.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of snakes, you're afraid of dying.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Really interesting stuff.
That is
like
interesting.
those two like baseline fears kind of branch out into all these other, higher level fears. But that's the
Yeah.
root of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm more afraid of the feeling of anxiety waiting for the thing to happen. Like,
Yeah. Oh, I know that.
Yeah, it's that the in between. Like, when I was little, I couldn't play hide and seek because the fear or the anxiety that I would feel waiting to be found, I would just like pop out and be like, I'm right here.
You found me.
I'm right here. And
You
so sometimes
win.
it's like you want to like move towards the thing then,
Yeah.
but not death. I'm not moving. I mean, chronologically, for now, I am moving in that direction. But how do you sit with that anxiety in the meantime and not have it prevent you from living your life fully?
Fully.
Yeah.
And with that, we're going to take a short break.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we started the podcast today, you and I were actually chatting
Yep.
about like our theories. And I think theories are fun to play around with.
Yep.
Like what do we think is actually out there after, or where do we come from? Like it's
Yes.
easy from like, the physiological science-based perspective, like, okay, we come from reproduction and we're mammals and this is what happens. That's an easy answer. But, I'm more interested in where does the consciousness that is me come from and how does it embody within this vessel? Like those are things I think about.
Yeah, me too.
Not so much, how the Red Sox are doing or,
I know.
I'm
wish.
just not that guy.
I know.
I'm just not that guy. I think about things like that, which, it's interesting and it's fun, but it can get you all messed up sometimes too.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree. Yes. I feel like it's been consuming me a little bit lately. And granted, obviously, just having like witnessed what I did.
Right.
And from psychedelic experiences, kind of combining, it really has been at the forefront of my mind, and definitely I can feel the presence of it in my body, like this underlying anxiousness that I'm hoping part of it I'll do integration and time will pass and that will kind of subside, but it's real.
Very.
Yeah.
I think that's healthy.
I do. I do. I absolutely do. And also, it's keeping me from being really present.
That's it.
And so, I don't know if it's healthy. Like, I want to be able to fill up my life with as many moments of like fun and joy, and I just want to have a good time, man. And depth and all of that as well. But not to be afraid of the inevitable. I don't want that.
Like you said, it takes you out of the living thing.
Yeah.
I mentored a gentleman, young man. I mean, it's been 8 years now, and his mom passed away from a brain tumor.
That's hard.
And that just put him into this like spiral of obsessing,
Yeah.
not just thinking about, but being completely consumed
Of course.
by what was the point and why did it happen. And it developed into a very strong fear of dying, to the point where he stopped living because he allowed the rumination
Yes.
of thinking around it to like take over.
Yeah.
And that kind of spooked me out.
Yeah.
And it was also difficult to have the same conversations with him over and over and
Yeah.
over again. And like, I don't have anything for you other than like, you gotta, well, you know, live. Let's live.
I know.
Let's do some things.
That has been the saving grace for me. Like this last year, as you know, I feel like I've really come into this idea of like being very human. Like I'm here to have a human experience.
Right.
And so death is part of that, but also it's like, how can I make the most of this knowing what's coming? That really kind of has like been pulling me out. So this past week I did allow, you know, and I'm lucky enough to have had time where I could just like be alone in my house and really allow myself to like steep in the emotions of grief and all of that. But then also like when my family shows up, it's like, okay, I want to be really present. How can I be really present? You know, knowing how fleeting this is. And my husband lost both his parents in 2020 in a very short period of time, within like months of each other.
It's tough.
It was. And he would always say like, there's a clock that's been started, right? This like constant ticking of like wasting time. I'm wasting time when you're just like sitting around or whatever it is. And I understood, but I didn't get it, right? Until this week. And I'm like, oh shit.
There's that clock.
The clock.
You started to hear the
Yep.
tick.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting because it makes those moments where you're just like binging TV or doom scrolling and you're like, this is not how I'm supposed to spend my human experience.
Yeah.
What am I doing? You know, and just like furthers that like push for, I don't know, exploration and curiosity and living. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like what you said. It was very Alan Watts of you. that simple teaching that he has, I've heard him say it a few different times, like the meaning of life is to have a human experience. Like we're just here to experience what it is to be human.
Yeah.
You know, and then
and that's all of it. That's like
the
darkness.
That's it. And then
beauty.
we, you know, most people, you know, existential people like me that I know get caught up in the whole like, well, what's the purpose and what's the meaning, and does life even have meaning? And it's like, well, you know, if the purpose of life is to have a human experience, it's the same thing as the purpose of a squirrel's life is to have a squirrel experience.
Yep.
And watch what a squirrel does, right?
Yep.
It's not thinking about the purpose and meaning of gathering nuts and storing them away. You know, it's just being a squirrel. And I think that that's, you know, the burden of this, you know, I think, therefore I am concept where we're self-aware, conscious beings.
Yeah.
That it, once again, gift and a burden, right? It makes for, you know, beautiful creativity and innovation and genius and all these things. And at the same time, it can also create the worst prisons you could ever fucking imagine. You know, and that's definitely my story.
Yeah.
You know, the prisons that I create, instead of, you know, just, you know, these simple cliche things that are so friggin' true, like, you know, just accept the what's so. Like, accept the things that, you know, are out of your control. And like you said earlier, but see where you have control and how are you going to show up? Like those are the places, you know, it's the serenity prayer, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yep.
Yes.
God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can.
Absolutely.
And the wisdom to know the difference.
Yeah, but I think it takes you to like 45 to know the difference. To be fair, there's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
You know, but that is also actually really living out the human experience. And we're all on a different journey around that. And I'm grateful that I can learn from people who have it harder. You know, that
builds perspective.
It really does. And I'm grateful that like I just look at it like they're taking one for the team, maybe, that I can learn from that, and it's not wasted, you know?
Yeah, and I think about, what I've been thinking about a lot lately that ties into this topic is the things that stress me out the most right now. Mm-hmm. And number one, what stresses me out the most right now is finances.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, right, yeah. Going to be debt over here. Okay, yeah, that happened. That was out of your control. Costs a lot of money. And for me to like spend all this grueling time and energy in stressing about something that is just going to take me out of the present moment it's frustrating.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating. And,
Yes.
You hear all the time, about, all these external possessions that people acquire in a lifetime doesn't mean shit. What
No.
really matters is who shows up
Yes.
to your funeral and like who shows up when you're passing, or the memories that, others hold of you to
Yep.
continue your legacy while
Yes.
you're gone.
Yeah.
Is like, he was a good guy. She was an awesome woman,
Yeah.
That's the shit that matters, not how much fucking money's in your bank account.
Yeah, because I don't think that's the human experience. I feel like the squirrel is probably living closer to what our human experience should be, which is like making babies, wandering the woods, gathering food, avoiding predators. Like,
I don't know,
I feel
maybe
like-
some squirrels are like, yo man, I fucking gathered a lot of nuts this winter.
and that's amazing. That's amazing that you're able to do that. But I feel like the money stuff or the way society is set up, I feel like I don't know how close to the original idea of a human experience
Right.
that all
Oh.
is. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
So that's why it's like, also, I recognize I have a husband who looks after me. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
recognize that, and I'm so grateful. So grateful. So some of those worries are not the same.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
I just want to like say that because
it's good to have gratitude for the privilege, and I'll use that word, and I'm not. It's not a negative word.
I don't think
but
it is.
I think it's good to have that self-awareness of the privilege that.
yeah.
we
I mean,
have.
I get to be a mom and focus on those things, right? So, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like that is a weight that pulls people in a lot of directions. It's you know what I mean?
So much is coming up right now.
Mm.
It's like any ruminating thought or idea that doesn't serve us takes us out of the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been talking about, like fear of death and how
Mm-hmm.
that can be an example of exactly that.
Yep.
But I'm also thinking about just the way that society's set up nowadays, and like how expensive shit is. Back to the money thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're here to have a human experience, but it's really difficult nowadays for some of us
Yeah.
to have a human experience when you got to go to work
Yeah.
and work 40, 50 hours a week. And then you got to like go over here and go over here. And this bill needs to be paid. And like just the way that our society is set up now makes it really difficult to have moments of being a human being.
Yes.
Because what we're actually forced into doing a lot of the time is being a human doer.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
and it's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating, especially for people that are, doing it on their own.
Yeah.
That have like 2 kids.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
have to go to work every day and then take care of 2 kids, and there's no,
Yes. I know. I get it. I get it. I'm not like freeloading off my husband. I work. I like no. I just
did you think I was like coming at you?
No, I don't think you're coming at me, but I do like, I get it and I participate in that too, but sometimes I really, and psychedelics does not help this, but sometimes I really do think that all of it is just such made up bullshit, like we don't, why, what, I mean, like some of it is just so pointless. It's just like paper that moves other paper that like, whatever.
I mean,
know?
I think that that's what we're coming to as a species right
Yeah.
now. Is there is like, I refer to it as the great shift
Yeah.
Of consciousness, where we are starting to wake up to how completely ridiculous we are
Yeah.
in our behaviors and the things we focus on, also the things that we're consuming.
Yes.
Whether it's poisonous food or ridiculous propaganda from the left,
Everywhere.
the right, the everywhere. And it would be like watching a squirrel, I don't know, gathering tennis balls and, you know, I don't know the metaphor. It would just be like watching a squirrel not be a squirrel and going like, wow, that animal is sick.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with that animal because
Well,
it's not working within like the circle of life and its natural essence of what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I think that like that's what we've been doing as humans for a long fucking time.
Yes.
And finally, I really think that we're starting to become more aware of it. And, you know, certain recent events, I think, are helping the unveiling of what's really behind the curtain, which is very, very powerful people, elites that have been and are pretty much dictating through conditioning, propaganda, and the power and control of money and religion to have us, regular folk, hungry, tired,
Yep.
you know, just weak, feeling weak and drained. And man, like, what are we doing? What the hell are we doing?
I don't know. I'm not participating in that. And I'm not participating in that. And I think there's so many people who are not, that are trying to find other ways to live their lives. Like, I'm definitely open to the change that's coming. And I think that our society can still function. I think there's people who are called to certain career paths because they're creative, they're interested, all those things. I think we can continue to advance as a society, but not be so tied down. And I think that's really why I really feel like you should witness life coming into the world and leaving it. Because it really reminds you that, like, oh, this is not forever. You get like maybe 100 years. And so how do you want to spend that time?
Boy,
what are you going to do?
I think that
I'll tell you what, I would still work at a coffee shop 3 days a week because I freaking love it. It's fun. I get to talk and meet interesting people. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I do.
that part of my life wouldn't change.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, that brings it full circle for how this conversation started. Yeah, just the importance of recognizing what's really important.
Yes.
And seeing
People.
that birth
Yes.
and death gives you this window.
Yeah.
And like, what are you going to do in that window?
Yeah.
And
those were things that were done in the home that kept it very present, you know?
yeah.
And families were bigger. So there was a lot of that happening, a lot more.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you commodify birth and death,
Commodify.
well, that's what's happened.
Well done.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we don't even go into some of those things, but that's what's happened, and it takes it out, and then we don't realize how precious this is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or that's
This
my
is-
view.
this
And
is-
also mushrooms make it real clear how precious this is. And not to waste it. This is not to be wasted.
No.
You know.
No. And, you know, just in this conversation, I'm going to make a statement of accountability for myself that I am no longer going to waste spending time, effort, and energy holding on to the things that don't matter, like money. Because it's all, you know what? It's like, okay, I've always been okay though.
Right.
You know, and I'm going to be okay.
Yes.
And it's just so funny how, you know, we've been conditioned to be like this, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
When in all reality, like you said, our hunter and gatherer ancestors, they didn't have any of that shit. They were just like hunting, gathering, and reproducing and being
Sounds
out
amazing.
in nature and more closely related to a squirrel.
Yeah, I think so.
So we all need to be more like squirrels. I think that's how we're going to conclude this. Do you have any
No, I like
final?
that.
Be more like squirrels. This has been great.
Yeah, I needed this actually.
This
Part
was
of my integration from my experience.
cathartic, and I do believe that this is not the end of the topic.
No.
And when Dave comes back to join us, I know he's got a lot to say about
Yeah.
it, and there's so many other, offshoots that we can do with this topic. So
I'm excited.
thank you for a good
Thank you.
episode.
Thank you.
Thank you all for listening, and those of you who are watching, and we will see you next time on Love Your Brain.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, and until next time. Oh, wrong setting.
That's better. Thanks for listening, and until next time, don't forget to love your brain.